So just to say that we are stuck between what we know deeply and truly in our hearts and what we do not yet know. And that strange place of knowing and not knowing is the conflict, the eternal paradoxic conflict between our svara, our intimate knowing, our intuition, if you will, and our gemara, our intellect. And we need both. We desperately need both to live healthy, sane, wonderful lives on this planet. Our particular species has a really hard time with integrating those things. And part of what Shabbat gives us the opportunity to do is spend some time letting go. Letting go so that our svara, our instincts, our intuition, our intuitive sense, and our intellects can relax and dance unfettered by having to do anything. Because it's the doing, it's the making, it's the fixing, it's the goal setting, it's the reaching a logical conclusion that puts those two aspects of ourselves in conflict. And we need to allow them to dance a little bit without our looking for outcomes. And part of Shabbat is all about no outcomes, right? Like even the amount of heat that you use if you're following a traditional understanding of that direction is not enough to change something, just enough to make it a little warm, that's all, but not to cook it. So here we are in this place, this metaphoric place of not cooking, of not changing, of letting things be. And so as we enter into this space, I invite you to just relax and let your body just sort of settle into being here, wherever you are. And maybe to think about the people for whom you might be offering your prayers tonight, whether they're prayers of celebration or they're prayers of learning or they're prayers of exploring or they're prayers of healing or whatever they might be. And maybe just take a moment to dedicate your healing, your learning, your exploring, your praying to someone. We'll just give you a minute to do that.
Ya da 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 ya da da ay 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 ya da 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 ay ya da da
From that place of dedication, we'll bring light into the Shabbat and we'll be graced right after our candle lighting with a beautiful new poem from our dear friend and poet laureate, David Shattuck. Please rise and body your spirit. If you have candles to join with, we invite you to light along with us tonight. So just take some big arms full of light, warmth, energy, and bring it in as much as you can take. And when you're full, take a few handfuls and send them out, maybe to the people that you're dedicating to or folks that you know who are in need of a little energy. And then we'll just go inside as we make this bracha, this blessing on these candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Let there be light, let there be energy, let there be warmth, and let there be Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, David.
This is a poem I just wrote, and it contains, it's called Zoom Shabbat at Chochmat HaLev, how appropriate. It contains some translations from Lecha Dodi. I think they'll be pretty obvious that they're not me, but I'll try and indicate them with my voice. Zoom Shabbat at Chochmat HaLev. Finger circles, silver hair, waving hips. Come, bride of God, Lecha Dodi, arms overhead, eyes closed, gold posts or silver hoops, no timbrels, though you could almost hear them. Full screen, go Bina, go Susan, arise, leave from the midst of turmoil, long enough have you sat, foot to foot, shift your weight. We're too old. I don't think so. Virus fear, hushed. Go, Toby, my very own bride of 40 years. Dress in your garments of splendor, your Marley pants we got at the Tel Aviv souk after your sister died. All those afflicted will find refuge. Open the door. Let her in. We will rebuild the city on her hill. As we bow down in our dining room, our MacBook Air whispering the oldest of promises, something sweet to lighten our sorrow.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, David. Wow. Just take a moment to say, and let go of all the remains of the week that is passing and welcoming the weekend and Shabbat. I'm going to put you on gallery view so I can see you. There you go. Just taking a moment to put your feet on the ground if you're able. We're about to call the angels of Shabbat. We're about to welcome them and ask them to bless us and to come to us. So notice for yourself, what kind of blessing do you need for this Shabbat? What kind of blessing are you inviting? It can be a very small blessing for your own self. It can be a big blessing for the whole wide world. Just inviting you to call the angels of Shabbat. We're singing together. Oh, we're calling you home. We are calling you home. We are calling you home. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Boachem Leshalom, Boachem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. We're calling you home, calling you home. Here we go. Oh, we're calling you home. We're calling you home. All of us, calling you home. Oh, we're calling you home. We're calling you home. We're calling you home. Barchuni leshalom. Barchuni leshalom. Malachi hashalom. Malachi hashalom. Malachi Elyon. צאתכם לשלום. צאתכם לשלום. מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. Calling you, here we go. Oh, we're calling you home. We are calling you home. We are calling you home. Calling you home. We're calling you home. We're calling you home. Let's put all our joys and sorrows and longings and wishes, all of that into the three. Oh, we're calling you home. See if you can send all your wishes and blessings and longings together in that. Here we go. Oh, we're calling you home. We're calling you home. Calling you home. Oh, calling you home. Calling you home.
Welcome home. Feels good to have all the angels here. And in these moments, as we deepen into the service, as we settle in and we make space inside of ourselves to receive Shabbat, we also invoke these words that help us get in touch with a deeper yearning and a bigger ask when we ask for God to reveal God's self to us, to open to us as well, and to extend a covering and a protection in the form of Sukkot Shalomecha, a canopy of peace. Gale, 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 na ufros aleinu alai et sukkot shalom echa igale Sukkah, Shalom Echad. Hum with us. Yum, yada, yada, yada. Ay, ay, ay. And ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Gale, 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 na ufros, chaviri alai, et sukkah, sukkah. Shalom
Just keep playing that for the rest of the Shabbat, and that's it. Why do anything else, right? Thank you. We are inviting you to wake up something in you with Lecha Dodi, to welcome the Shabbat with open heart, open spirit, open mind. If you are called to move and shake and just go somewhere else for a little bit. I know it's good for me every once in a while to leave my mind and thoughts and feelings and world and just go into the ecstasy of music, which is an ancient practice. Anybody knows anything about that? It's Chochmat HaLev. Okay, good. So we don't have me and Jose and Yari and Aharon playing on the floor and everybody dancing around us, but we came up with something. So if you're called to shake and move and sing and open your heart and in honor of Shabbat and in honor of life, in honor of togetherness, in honor of this community, in honor of love. So here we go. Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat. kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. And we're inviting you, if you're able, to open up the door or the window and your heart and your spirit and your mind, inviting you to open up to the spirit of renewal and peace and togetherness, the spirit of hopefully a safe, nourishing Shabbat. And after you open the door or the window or just your beautiful heart, see if you can come back to us so we can be together. בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם ברינה ובצלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Sing with me this part, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי 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 חלה. Shabbat Shalom. בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Shabbat Shalom, y'all. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm as close to this mic as I can possibly get. So,
We got the thumbs up from Janet.
okay,
Yes.
good. It's better. Okay, thank you. Good. So, a lot's been going on, right? Really unbelievable, incredible. And on the one hand, I feel like this is the most exciting time to have ever been alive, ever in the history of ever. And on the other hand, I feel like this is the most miserable freaking time to have ever been dropped into the world, as we are facing a worldwide God only knows what, and I really do mean God in this case. And the upset and the roiling that goes on in our hearts, and the worry and the anxiety and the frustration and the distrust and all of this brokenness that comes bubbling up, and how we treat each other through it. You know, how we can get nasty with the people closest to us, how we can find ourselves fighting with the people that we agree with the most, whose values are the closest to our own, how we can turn on each other, whether in big swatches like entire countries where people are turning on each other, or, you know, we're all earthlings after all, and yet we turn on each other. And so I've been very disturbed by that tendency of our species. And I've been reading somebody who's been facing that and analyzing it and sorting through it, a young trans woman named Kai Cheng Tom, spelled Thom. And she's a first-generation Canadian, Chinese-Canadian trans woman who has been deeply steeped in radical social justice warrior politics and activities, and is now hitting the ripe old age of 30. And you'll be shocked to learn is starting to soften and mellow, and is asking the question, or is searching for a hope that we choose love. That we choose love. And I've been thinking about that a lot, because as I look around the world, I see a lot of leadership encouraging us to not choose love, to choose all kinds of other things. But our tradition teaches us that love is at the core of the whole business. That love, in all of its many wild and difficult to understand manifestations, is really and truly the place that the divine works in this world and works into us and through us. And that we can love things we don't even like. And we can love things that are wrong. We can love things that are bad. But if you don't love those things and you're engaging with them anyway, they will consume you. In one of her essays, she is talking about finding community that feels safe and that feels like you are accepted. And she talks about watching those systems arise and sometimes turn into rigid codes. And she says, we long for safety and order, but we love the thrill of transgression and danger. We long for safety and order, but we love the thrill of transgression and danger. And I think about that statement in terms of God, in terms of the divine. Because my experience with the divine, as limited and as, sought after as it is that God is that very thing that thrills, that often moves us to transgress, that is often a little dangerous. Because that state of pure love is a state of leaving all of our physical, earthy, fleshy instincts to survive. Because love will survive. Love doesn't need a body. Love doesn't need a planet. Love doesn't need people or stories. Love just needs to be. Love just needs to continue to let the world unfold in its many weird, bizarre, beautiful, and dangerous manifestations. So this week's Torah portion starts out with this amazing little, it's, seemingly pretty run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. It says that, let me pull it up here for you and just read you this little bit and how I am starting to hear this in a new way this year. And Moses told the children of Israel according to all that God commanded Moses. Right there. you've got a mess. Moses is conveying to a huge number of individuals, here referred to as the children of Israel, according to all that God, love, truth, the ineffable, something that we can't wrap our heads around entirely, or our bodies, God knows, had commanded Moses. God's going to try to tell us all about what it's all about. God is manifesting through Moses in words. All right. And Moses says this, and Moses spoke into the heads of the tribes of the children of Israel. By heads, I don't mean like he spoke into their noggin. He spoke to the leaders of the tribes of Israel. And this is what he said. This is the thing which God has commanded. This is the thing that God has commanded. When a person vows a vow or swears an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. I just love reading these like really archaic translations sometimes. And it goes on into some really problematic sexist stuff. But what I'm pulling from this, first of all, is that there is a tendency for us to give over to someone else what it means to receive the truth, what it means to receive divine truth. That we choose leaders. It says it right there. There were already leaders who had been chosen, and obviously Moses was the leader of the leaders. And this tendency that we have to choose people, one person, to command a bunch of others. And that somehow we have this bizarre belief that is ancient, that the guy at the top, and it's usually a guy so far in this crazy history of ours, the guy at the top is the one who is connected to the ultimate truth and the ultimate love. I don't like it. I want to change it. I think that's a case of choosing our own oppressor. And I think what we really, really need to do is cut off that top tether that says the guy at the top is more connected to God than I am. I don't think it's a problem to say, hey, you're really good at organization. Could you do the organization part of this situation? And I'm really good at particulars, so I'd like to do the particulars. I don't think there's any problem with saying, you know, you're really good at managing and I'm really good at delivering services. I don't think there's any problem with saying you're really good at teaching and I'm really good at learning. I don't think there's any problem with us acknowledging and embracing our big gifts. I think there's something wrong, deeply, deeply wrong with thinking that anyone has got a deeper connection to love and truth than anyone else. And I think that part of our task and part of what this time needs to allow us is to claim our connection to the divine as a human given right. And you can call the divine whatever you want. You don't even have to think there is one. But you get to define your relationship with it. And the way that you bring it through your body, your words, your actions, your choices should be governed by love. Should be governed by a sense of your svara, your deep inner knowing. Your deep, deep, deep inner knowing that you could not make it through this life by yourself. And that love is the thing that both opens us up to each other and allows us to give, allows us to receive and allows us to give. And in the Torah portion, it goes on to say, if you've made a vow, be really conscious of that. Your vows not only affect you, but they affect everyone around you. Your actions, your choices, those things that you think that you are committed to, they affect everyone around you. So be conscious. Find your way to your deepest truth. Find your way to your greatest capacity to love and be loved. And don't give that away to anyone ever. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
After all those beautiful words, I want to invite you to, if you're able, to take your hand and put it on your heart. If you're feeling comfortable with closing your eyes for a minute, just going back to your heart. The heart is not always full of love. Sometimes it's full of confusion and sadness and grief. Sometimes it's full of joy. And most of the time, it's all those things all together in the same time. So however your heart feels like today, see if you can just welcome it. Kind of continuing Joseph's word that everything wants to be loved. Everything wants to live. Everything wants to grow. Everything wants to be alive. So we're singing this song, Ahava Rabba, endless, a mountain of love that we spend our whole life practicing either receiving it or giving it. And those words are just here to remind us that there's lots of it and it's somewhere. And our job is to, if we get lost and can't find it, is to trust. Is to keep trusting that the universe, God, love, however we call it, has some love in it. It goes like this. Ahava Rabba, and you say Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahavtanu. It's a call and respond, let's try it. Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahavtanu, 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 Ahavtanu. Ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu. We sing together, Ahava Rabba, 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 Ahavtanu. This is the first time that I'm singing it to myself and repeating it to myself. It's very strange, so I'm imagining how I can hear all of you sending a lot of love. Here we go. Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahava Rabba, Ahavtanu, Ahavtanu. Ahavtanu, 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 Shechina imenu, Shechina imenu. Going back to our hand on our precious heart, the only one we have. Going back to a moment in our life that you felt loved. Some of us are lucky to have that with our parents or grandparents. Some of us has it with our neighbor, our partner, our dog, our cat. never had that feeling of feeling completely loved, see if you can just imagine how would that feel like to feel completely held and loved. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us, all of us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Shekhinah Imenu. Shekhinah Imenu. Taking it one more step and saying, how deeply you have loved me. How deeply you have loved me all this time. How deeply you have loved me again and again and again. How deeply you have loved me. How deeply you have loved me, all of me. How deeply you have loved me. How deeply you have loved me. Adonai Eloheinu. Just hum together this part. How deeply Shekhinah Imenu. Ahava Rabba. Ahava Rabba. Ahava Rabba. Ahava Rabba. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. We're taking this love and we're taking it even step deeper into the Shema, the calling to listen with love to this concept that can feel very lonely if you don't hold it with love and open hearts, that everything is one, everything is connected, and we are all there for each other. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Ahava Achad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Ahava Achad. Shekhinah Achad, Adama Achad. We open this part with love and we're closing it with love, with Ve'ahavta. This is another one of those, you can move your body however you like, sending a lot of love for this whole community. מאודיך ובכל מאודיך ואהבת ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך love upon love love upon love upon love send it to your neighbor love upon love upon love the one next to you in that little square love upon love upon love love upon love upon love ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך love upon love upon love upon love upon love love upon love upon love upon love love upon love upon love love upon love upon let's hear everybody all together here we go love upon love upon love love upon love upon love tell your neighbor love upon love upon love love upon love upon love see you building all those buildings of love beautiful
So good. Hearts so full, hearts so open, and all this connection. Thank you for being here, and thank you for helping us generate these sparks of love. And it's time to send those sparks of love to all those who are in need of healing. You know, these days, we're all kind of in our background, in our nervous system, whatever part of our consciousness, we're dealing with a lot, working through a lot, and kind of handling and being in it. What's at the foreground is completely different. This is all in the background, and it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. So I want you to give yourself permission to send some of this healing energy to yourself, to your own heart, to your own body, and to your own spirit. And then to send it to a person that you're thinking about, a group of people, to our country, to the world. We want to especially extend healing this week to Silva Tenenbein, to Carol Saveda, to Fred Warner's dad, Ralph, to our friends Michael McCormick and Saralea Badahuva, Chazan Richard Kaplan, and to my mom. Please, while we are singing together and sending light, feel free to add into the chat whoever you're sending this to. And it's okay if that person is you, because we're sending you light too. We're sending you light to heal you and hold you. We're sending you light to hold you in love. Sending you light to heal you and hold you. We're sending you light to hold you in love. El na refanallah. 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 Refuah shlema. Refuah shlema. Full, complete healing. Refuah shlema. Refuah shlema. May we and they soon know a time of full and complete healing. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Our thoughts turn to those who have died, those whose lives have touched us, have challenged us, have shaped us and informed us in some sort of way. Our tradition is bold in its invitation to each of us to create a certain amount of reality around us that exudes hope and pluck and is radical and is funny and is meaningful. And if we've done our job right and we've said yes to that invitation, then we leave some of that behind us. We leave some meaning. We leave some hope. We leave some humor. And we have got this incredible ability to preserve that for each other. Part of the invitation of the Mourner's Kaddish is to gather up those pieces from lives that you've known that have completed their tasks or completed their run here on earth, and to hold up, to shine up some of that hope, some of that humor, some of that meaning. So we want to invite you to pull into your hearts anyone for whom you would be offering these words of praise on their behalf, praises that they might have offered themselves, but who are no longer here to do it. We are thinking about our dear friend Talia Rose, whose recent passing has left a big hole in the heart and the life of our dear Ray McLaughlin, our member. We also announce with sadness the recent losses of the mothers of Jody Seltzer and Ron Feldman, who are both dear friends of our community. And also the 170,000 people who have died of COVID worldwide as of this morning. And all of the ripple effects of those losses, and all of the praises that are not being offered by them. So we get to do the heavy lifting, And before we jump into the Mourner's Kaddish, I would love for you to think of one thing that you encountered today or yesterday or in this last week, something that brought praise to your lips. Something that brought praise to your lips. Maybe it was as simple as thank you. That's praise. Or maybe it was a beautiful flower at the end of its spring run giving way to summer. Or maybe it was that first bite of the perfect peach. Or maybe it was a beautiful conversation you had with somebody. Or maybe it was just you walking into the threshold of your house and thinking, my God, I'm so lucky. Just find something that is truly in your heart that you can praise it. And when you're ready, if it is your practice to rise, we invite you to rise. It's also our practice here to invite everyone to put the names, as many of you have already done, of folks that you would offer this Mourner's Kaddish for. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol be'Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
Yehei
Yehei
Shmei
Shmei
Rabba
Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ul Almei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Dekudashah Brichu La'ela in kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata Da miran be'alma ve'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yishmael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel ve'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'ase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yishmael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates peace with love all around us help us feel empowered. Help us feel our role. Help us feel the important contribution that each and every one has to make to peace here in our hearts, in our families, in our communities, our cities, our countries, and in our world. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. And thank you so much, David, for your beautiful poem. We feel seen. Thank you for seeing us and shaping our experience so beautifully with your words. Thank you as well to Dorit and to Steve for helping manage the Zoom. And thank you as always to our dear Lior, who holds our community with such spirit, such love, such tenderness and vulnerability. Thank you, Lior. And we're going to turn it over to Sherry.
Hi, can you hear me? Cool. Hey everybody, just a few quick announcements and then we're going to have a Shabbat schmooze. So you're welcome to stay on afterwards and we will break into little groups and chat. But before that, just a few things about stuff here. So if you're new, welcome. I want to let everybody know that this is all possible because of membership and donations. So you'll see in the chat easy ways to do both. I never thought I would be a member of a shul in my entire life, and I've been so blessed and I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And it gets deeper and deeper as you become a member, and there's so many things available to you when you do that. So I encourage you to consider it. Or if that's not a step you're ready for, to donate to help us keep the virtual lights on during this time, to keep our staff and to keep our services thriving as they actually really are, the beautiful classes and offerings like this and throughout the week. Also, just wanted to mention there's no Shabbat 2 weeks from now, July 31st. There's no Shabbat, just FYI. So 2 really cool things that are coming up that we're excited about, of many awesome Chochmat programs. There's a youth program sampler this very Sunday, July 19th at 10:30 a.m. So our youth program is led by the incredible Rabbi Lynn Gottlieb, who, if you don't know, is one of the first women to ever become a rabbi, like pioneer, trailblazing woman. And we're lucky enough at Chochmat to have her lead our youth program. Pretty great. So if you're the parent of a kid, or you know someone who's the parent of a kid, we have an incredible virtual program. And this Sunday, you'll get a taste of it for younger kids and not so young kids. So that link will be in your chat. This Sunday's program is all about birds, actually, as a gateway into Jewish mitzvot and storytelling. And Rabbi Lynn's an incredible teacher and storyteller. You'd be lucky to be there and have your kids be there. And another cool thing is Josh Kornbluth is going to screen Red Diaper Baby on Saturday, August 15th. So he is a storyteller, and his film Red Diaper Baby is going to be screened as a fundraiser for us. This had an off-Broadway run, and it was nominated for a Drama Desk. I used to be a theater director in New York. That's a really huge deal. Very few plays get that. And it was filmed for Sundance. So it basically tells the story of Josh's youth when he was being groomed to lead the next American Revolution, as in the next communist revolution. Interesting story. Tune in to see it August 15th at 7 p.m. And I am going to hand it over to Lior, who I think is going to take us out with a final song. And then if you'd like to stay around after that, we'll break into groups for a schmooze around a cool prompt that Jeffrey, our board president, shared with us. Thanks so much, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Sherry.
Sure.
We'll say goodbye with go in peace, go in kindness, go in love, go in faith, leave the day behind us, day is done, go in grace. Let us go into the dark, not afraid, no, not alone, and let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Lech לשלום, לכי בחסד, באהבה, באמונה, השאירי את היום מאחורייך, היום עבר, לכי בשלווה. בואו נלך אל תוך הלילה, לא לבד, לא, לא, לא לבד, ומי ייתן וגם הלילה אגיע הביתה בביתך. And let us hope by some good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbos.
Same.
Hey, Stephen, Rachel, good Shabbos. Hey, Lisa and Max, good Shabbos. Hey, Ryan and Noah, good Shabbos.
Hey,
Mary,
we
good
wish you all.
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Hey, Nancy, good Shabbos.
Hey, you Julie and Joe.
Naomi, good Shabbos. Avila,
I
good
hate
Shabbos.
it.
Good
Oh,
Shabbos.
wonderful.
So crazy.
Shabbos to everybody. It's such a blessing to see everyone.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi. Good
Shabbos.
Shabbos. Vincent, good Shabbos. Hey, Shabbos, Teddy. Thanks, Callie, for her dancing.
Hey,
Shabbos,
Mark.
Mark and Ruth.
Hi,
Shabbos, Carol. Good Shabbos, Morris. Hey, Cole. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos, Susan.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Bye.